So glad I have you on here, Stevie, to talk about this, because who better than you, former Daytona 500 winning crew chief, to analyze this. I've got some notes here because I want to make sure I get this right. So Truex, he didn't lead the most laps, but he certainly appeared to have the fastest car. He won the first two stages. I think the most stunning moment of the race was when he pitted with 17 to go in stage 2 and went from, I think, outside the top 15 all the way to first in the final 15 laps of that stage. But then he makes this interesting move. He really only had to make one more pit stop from there, but he elected to pit to start the final stage on lap 120 when Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick all stayed out. Truex could have stayed out there. Why didn't he stay out? And was that the right call? Do you feel like that's where the race kind of turned?
All right, so let's go into strategy 202 next gen style. 4 tires, figured 9.5 or 10 seconds. That's 15-ish gallons of fuel. The car holds 20. So if you need a full tank of fuel, you are absolutely slowing down your pit stop. That's very important for the fans to know. It didn't exist in the old car. With 5 lug nuts, it took about the same amount of time to put gas in as it did put tires on. So that wasn't really a layer. So minimal pit stops was out, without a doubt, was the winning strategy every single time. Unless you go back a few years ago at Pocono. There was, that's kind of the only place you would have been able to do it, is like a gas and go after a restart. Yeah. So now in today's world, anytime you need over 15 gallons, you have the chance to be passed, and passed dramatically on pit road. So the entire field pits at lap 104. That puts everybody into the entire field doesn't, but the cars that are going to race for the win, because some guys are trying to stay out for the stage, and that was right for them. Suarez was one of them. I thought he was going to win the stage. But the race winners all pit at 104. Yeah. They run to the end of the stage. Pit road opens lap 123. You have to decide at this point, are you going to pit one more time? Everyone's going to pit one more time at least. But when you come down pit road, do you want to have a 14-second pit stop and need all the fuel you have to take? Or do you want to top off gas right now and have a 9-second pit stop with about 40 to go? That's the decision. That's the fork in the road. And as crazy as this sounds, I think both crew chiefs chose right. I think for Chris Buescher, we had yet to see clean air on the 17th. Scott Graves probably at some point said, you know what, we have to get up here. We have to make something happen. I'm going to stay out. The 45 Tyler Reddick does the same thing, says, I'm going to stay out. I'm going to get some track position. I'm going to worry about being behind on fuel, because everybody talks about track position, but you can't have everything. You can't have track position and the best tires and the most fuel. Something has to be compromised. What the 17 and the 45 did is they said, well, tires don't matter, so I'll compromise with less fuel. Kevin Harvick did it. Ryan Blaney did it. I like that call. I also love James Small's decision. He just drove from 18th to the 14th or something to the lead in like 10 laps. It was one of the most amazing drives I've seen. The car's unbelievable. So if I'm James Small, I tell myself, I am not going to get beat on pit road. I am not going to have a caution right at the fuel window, come down here, have a 14-second pit stop, and come off pit road in 17th. I'm not going to get leapfrogged on the green flag pit stops like Larson did to them at Pocono just a few weeks ago. Like, that's not how we're going to lose this race. So I loved his call to come get 2 tires and gas. What no one is talking about is the drive that the 17 and the 45 put on. It was a clinic. So you restart the race now. We run the final stage green. We get out there running, and the 19's coming like we expect him to. Leapfrog into traffic. He's making time. He breaks through in third, 4 seconds behind the leaders. He is going to have a 4-second faster pit stop. So if he could just find a second on the racetrack, remind everyone, the fastest race car, he pits, puts 4 tires on, he leapfrogs him green flag pit stop, game over. Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick, I haven't asked them, but I believe they purposely worked together, running first and second. They would draft down the straightaways. They would offset one car width in the corner, run both corners, never try to pass one another, pulled back in the draft, and stretched the lead over the 19 to 6 seconds. So, like, when we talk about the nuance, right? Everybody's going to talk about cars and how they drove. It was that moment. It was a 15 laps before the green flag pit stops that Tyler Reddick and Chris Buescher, a Ford and a Toyota, I guarantee there was no communication between the two teams that this is the plan, right? This is Billy Scott and Scott Graves going. Scott Graves tells his guy, hey, Chris, we need to gap the 19. And Billy Scott tells his guy, hey, we need to gap the 19. And 2 race car drivers go, well, we know how to do it. We're professionals. At 200 miles an hour, we are racing with scalpels. We are not racing with sledgehammers. And we are going to put this amazing 15-lap drive in, gap the 19, come down. The 45 has a pit stop faster than the 17, passes the 17, and go back on the racetrack. And the 19 then, after pit road, blends. Like, the big miss in all of this is the poor 45, I think, had race-winning opportunity. And I'm sorry, I look past pit road mistakes, in 9 or 10 seconds. It's very hard. But when you're waiting on fuel, it is inexcusable to have a tire change issue. Inexcusable. It's bad coaching, bad planning, bad communication, bad something. Either he didn't know or he wasn't coached to know, but it's inexcusable for your Jackman and U2 tire changes to know that listen, guys, you can do this in 9 seconds. I only need you to do it in 14. That's 50% slower. That's like, hey, we're going to go run a race and you take off sprinting where you only have to run the mile in under 20 minutes. I'm just going to mosey my way down and understand the situation. A total miss by the 45 team because they had track position on the 17. So I know it was a long-winded answer, but my point is I think they were both right. Like I would have, it's so easy to Monday morning it. I'm not going to do that for James Small here. I'm not going to get beat on fuel quantity with the fastest race car in Michigan. Ain't happening. I'm doing the same thing James Small did, and I'm probably finishing second as well.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.